man who enters the arena of attraction begging for validation is already defeated. He places his worth in the hands of another, and worse, in the hands of someone whose favor is often as fickle as the wind. To command desire, one must first command respect, and respect is not given to the one who pleads. It is reserved for the one who holds himself with composure, purpose, and quiet power. There is no greater display of weakness than the man who cannot stand alone. The moment a man molds himself to win favor, he surrenders the very thing that makes him desirable, his independence. A man who reshapes his thoughts, his values, simply to appease another, reveals he has no spine, no core. He becomes a shadow of what he was, a decoration rather than a presence. Women do not chase shadows, they chase force, they chase influence, they chase the man who stands above circumstance, not beneath their whim. Power is not arrogance, it is not loud, it is not theatrical, it is silent, measured, and undeniable. The man of power does not try to impress, he is impressive by nature of what he builds, how he moves, and the way he carries his time. His attention is not scattered, it is scarce. And because it is scarce, it is sought. He does not offer compliments in desperation. He does not chase with gifts, nor does he bend under the weight of rejection. He is not moved by reaction. He moves by decision. To seek approval is to be manipulated. Every compliment given with the intent of receiving something in return is a transaction of weakness. Every gesture of affection meant to win rather than express reveals a man not in control of himself. Women may smile at such gestures, but they do not burn for them. They do not pursue the man who gives them everything. They pursue the man they cannot easily read. The one who walks through life with a mission, not a plea. There is something magnetic about a man who is utterly unbothered by validation. He can admire without attaching. He can desire without needing. He can love without losing himself. This man is dangerous because he is rare, and what is rare always has value. He who needs approval is enslaved by it. He who does not rules over those who chase it. Approval-seeking men fall in love with imagination, not reality. They build castles of affection on foundations of sand, but the man who builds himself with stone, through discipline, self-respect, and silence, becomes the very storm that others try to catch. Say little, reveal less. The power of mystery lies not in deception, but in discipline. A man who reveals everything he thinks, feels, and plans is a man who surrenders control over how he is perceived. Those who seek to be entirely understood become predictable, and predictability is the enemy of desire. What is fully known loses its fascination. What is partially concealed draws the mind like a flame in darkness. The mind is not captivated by transparency. It is captivated by questions. What is he thinking? Why is he so composed? Why does he not react like the others? These are the thoughts that stir interest, that plant seeds of obsession. A man who understands this uses silence and ambiguity as tools, not to confuse, but to compel, not to manipulate, but to elevate himself beyond the grasp of ordinary perception. His value increases not because he boasts, but because he refrains, because he chooses restraint where others seek validation. When you reveal everything, you allow others to measure you, to place boundaries around your potential. But when you remain elusive, you become something more, something that cannot be categorized. In the game of attraction, this is power. Women do not chase men who are too available, too known, too simple to understand. They chase the man who remains one step beyond, who speaks with intention, who acts without explanation. The man who lives with a quiet flame, never shouting, but always burning. There is strength in leaving something unsaid, in allowing the other to guess, to wonder, to overthink. Mystery keeps attention alive long after beauty fades. A striking appearance may spark curiosity, but it is the unseen layers that keep the mind returning. The man who reveals his entire mind on the first encounter is already finished. There is no pursuit left, no thrill. The game is over before it began. But the man who offers only glimpses, who leaves space for imagination, he is not a man, he becomes a myth. Mystery is not about lying or manipulation. It is about preserving something for yourself. It is about maintaining control over what parts of your soul are visible and when. In this world of endless noise, where everyone seeks attention by overexposing their lives, the man who says little becomes a thunderclap. His words carry weight because they are rare. His presence commands silence because it is felt, not shouted. A woman cannot chase what she already possesses in full. She must feel the distance between what she sees and what she cannot yet reach. That gap is where attraction lives. It is in the unknown that desire takes root. Once you understand that, you stop oversharing, you stop performing, you stop answering every question. You let silence speak. You let her curiosity do the chasing. You become the mirror that reflects only what you choose. And what you choose becomes sacred, because it is rare. A man who cannot control his emotions is a man easily controlled. In the realm of attraction, the one who remains composed, unshaken, and centered holds the advantage. Women test not to destroy, but to measure. They press against the walls of your confidence to see if they hold. If they find cracks, neediness, jealousy, desperation, they begin to pull away, not always by choice, but by instinct. Emotional discipline is not the absence of feeling, but the mastery of response. Do not confuse silence with weakness. Do not mistake calm for apathy. The man who holds back his reactions, who chooses when and how to show feeling, is the one who sets the tone. In every interaction, someone leads and someone follows. The man who reacts too quickly, who confesses too easily, who panics when attention is withdrawn. He follows, he chases shadows and calls it love. But the man who feels deeply and still chooses restraint, he leads. He does not follow whims, he watches. He measures, he decides. A man ruled by impulse is like a ship without a rudder. One moment joyful, the next enraged. One moment composed, the next pleading for attention. This volatility is not passion. It is weakness disguised as intensity. True strength is not loud. It is found in the stillness of the storm. It is the ability to walk away without shouting, to be desired and yet remain indifferent to the outcome, to be tempted and yet remain focused on something higher than pleasure. Women are not drawn to men who lose themselves in emotion. They are drawn to men who feel everything and still remain unshaken. The one who is not swayed by temporary affection. The one who does not melt under beauty, nor crumble under rejection. When you are indifferent to emotional chaos, you become the calm in their storm. And in that calm, you are remembered. You are felt. You are chased. To control your emotions is to control the frame of every interaction. It means you dictate the pace, the tone, the direction. You do not raise your voice because someone questioned you. You do not beg for attention when it is withheld. You let absence speak louder than desperation. You let your self-control become your power. In every silence there is strength. In every refusal to react there is command. When a woman cannot provoke you, she begins to wonder about you. When she cannot read you, she begins to study you. The more she studies, the more she feels. And the more she feels, the more she chases. Emotionally reactive men are a dime a dozen. Men who are unmoved by games, tests, and temptation. These are rare. These are unforgettable. They simply withdraw. These are the ones who shift the balance of power without raising a single word. To master your emotions is to master your value. It is to remain in control when others are losing theirs. It is to speak through your silence, to respond with your posture, to lead without needing approval. The man who can look through beauty and not stumble, who can feel pain and not break, who can be ignored and not chase, becomes the one who dictates the terms of attraction. A man who places his mission above all else becomes unshakable. He is not distracted by fleeting pleasures or temporary validation. His mind is anchored in something greater than comfort, and because of that, he becomes magnetic. Women are not drawn to the man who places them at the center of his world. They are drawn to the man who stands at the center of his own. The man who is consumed with a higher purpose emits a kind of intensity that cannot be faked, a sense of direction that others instinctively want to follow. The one who orbits around a woman, constantly adjusting his behavior to win her affection, sacrifices his identity. He becomes an echo, not a force. His energy bends toward approval, not progress. But the man who builds, who refines, who rises, not for the applause but for the empire, is the one who commands admiration without asking for it. His purpose becomes the very gravity that pulls others toward him. He does not chase beauty, for he knows beauty will follow where power resides. A woman does not truly desire to be the man's goal. She desires to be swept up in the velocity of his journey. If a man's attention is scattered, if he can be pulled off course by affection, he reveals that he has no center, and a man with no center cannot lead, cannot inspire, cannot ignite. But when a man stays loyal to his craft, his calling, his vision, despite distraction, he becomes a fire no wind can extinguish. Pleasure is meant to be a reward, not a pursuit. The man who spends his life in search of pleasure weakens his edge. He becomes soft, easily satisfied, easily controlled. The man who disciplines his appetite, who prioritizes long-term conquest over momentary comfort, becomes rare. His time becomes sacred. His energy becomes exclusive, and that exclusivity becomes desirable. The world respects the man who moves as though he answers to something larger than approval. His presence becomes heavier. His words land deeper. His silence demands more attention than another man's praise. A man without purpose can be bent, redirected, consumed by those who offer him affection. But the man of purpose cannot be moved, only followed. He remains firm while others adjust. He builds legacy while others chase attention. His love, when given, feels earned, not because he withholds as a tactic, but because he does not offer it as a distraction. When a woman encounters a man with vision, she senses it immediately. He listens without being absorbed. He speaks without seeking response. He gives without needing return. He moves forward with or without her approval. And it is that forward motion that stirs something primal. It is not his pursuit of her that attracts her. It is his relentless pursuit of something more, something higher, something she cannot control. In that lack of control, the chase begins. She does not run after the man who waits. She runs after the man who walks ahead. The man who builds himself becomes the man others seek. He does not ask for attention. He commands it through action, through presence, through the undeniable weight of his ambition. He does not revolve around pleasure, but around discipline. While others seek distraction, he sharpens his mind. While others chase approval, he chases mastery. And in this chase, something remarkable happens. He becomes the one others follow, the one others desire, not because he begs to be noticed, but because he becomes too valuable to be ignored. Pleasure is fleeting. Purpose is eternal. The man who orients his life toward indulgence becomes weak. He is pulled by temptation, shaped by emotion, enslaved by the opinions of those he wishes to impress. But the man who serves something higher, who wakes each day with intention and works like a man possessed, is not easily swayed. He is not available to everyone, and that very unavailability becomes an arrow of power. It is not arrogance, it is focus. The kind of focus that bends the room when he walks in. The kind of focus that sets him apart without a word. There is no greatness in the man who exists to entertain others. There is only emptiness. But the man who lives for his craft, who shapes his body, his mind, his reputation, his resources into a fortress. He becomes the ideal. He does not have to say that he is different. It is seen in how he moves, how he speaks, how he chooses silence over attention. His life is filled with meaning, and where meaning exists, attraction is inevitable. People are drawn to meaning. Women are drawn to the man who does not need them to complete him, but who offers something they want to be a part of. To make purpose the center is to make power the outcome. A man with purpose does not chase validation. He does not need reassurance. His mind is set, and his actions reflect it. His relationships do not define him. They complement him. He does not lose himself in love because he knows who he is without it. And because he knows, others begin to know. He becomes the mirror they wish to reflect. He becomes the one who must be earned, not entertained. Time, to this man, is currency. He does not spend it cheaply. He does not give it to those who waste it. Every hour serves the mission. Every day is a brick in the structure of something lasting. The more he builds, the less he explains. His life speaks for itself. His absence creates a void. His presence raises standards. He does not move toward comfort. He moves toward conquest, and in that conquest, he becomes desirable not because he aims to be, but because he cannot help but be. A man of purpose does not need to pursue anything but his path. Everything else, including desire, follows. Do not bend to be chosen. Become the man who must be earned, the one who does not chase but is chased, through silence, through control, through scarcity, through purpose, through discipline. You do not merely attract, you command. You are not here to be liked, to please, or to entertain. You are here to build, to conquer, to lead. When you master yourself, when you stop reacting, when you walk with the calm intensity of a man on a mission, you separate from the masses. You become the standard. You become the storm. And once you become the storm, they do not walk away. They follow.